Welcome, welcome. Hi, everybody. It's really great to be here. I don't know why it seems like it's a long time since we've done this. I know it hasn't been. But I just have to say hi to Laura. Hi, Laura. I know she's watching. I would say normally, in case you're watching, but I know she's watching. Anyway, I miss you. I'm doing it all by myself tonight. But I do want to say thank you. We've had so many positive comments on how much you benefited from her, and so thank you, Laura, and to everyone who moved forward, who had light bulb moments and moved forward. That's what we're all about. Those light bulb moments. You know, it's funny when we work really, really hard, and when a light bulb moment comes, man, it's just sweet. So it's all good. All right, so I want to start off tonight by, I've kind of collected a few things, questions, things like that we've had issues with. And tonight our topic is the PoM for August. It's number 211, 9 is top. But before we get there, I want to cover 3 things on the website. Just 3 little lessons that might help you. They'll help you on our site, and they'll probably help you on other sites too. And we're always improving, we're always changing, we're always seeing what we can do, and our web company guy is always making suggestions to us. So it's a win-win situation. I think we've made a lot of improvements lately, but just know that we're still working on many things. First off, when you go to Silhouette Patterns or almost any site and you hit the logo goes on every single page. In fact, all the buttons go on every single page. So when you're anywhere, all you have to do is click on the logo, put your mouse right over that logo, click on it, it'll take you back to the home page. Our site is large. There's over 100 pages. I mean, well over 100 pages. So people say they have a hard time navigating. Just click on the logo. It takes you right back to the home page, and then you can go wherever you want. I think you'll find that with any website, the logo will always take you back to the home page, number 1. Number 2, people have asked for a search function. We have a search function. We've had a search function for many, many years. So all you have to do to get there is on the very front page, click on the little cart. There's a little shopping cart on the very front page. It will take you to another page, and on that second page, you'll see some titles over on the left-hand side. The second title, it will say search. You hit that button, type in what you're searching for, and you are good to go. All right? The next thing I want to tell you is I was told that there was no connection between our site and YouTube. Yes, of course, there's lots. So what you're going to do is go to the front page again. Keep in mind that, everything can't be on the front page. But it's kind of built into the front page, if that makes sense, as web developers like to have class and style and make it beautiful and all those things. You see a lot of sites out there that are just, there's lots and lots of words. They're kind of a mess. That's not what we want. And so that's why little things like clicking on the logo will help you, clicking on the little cart to the search will help you. And then also to get to YouTube from our website. If you're on our website, on the right-hand side, there's a tab. Now, the top is pictures. And we have the new patterns getting ready to come out, by the way. But the top is pictures. And we'll change those pictures up. We're going to change the whole site up here in a little bit. And then across the bottom, on the right-hand side, there's several topics. Just one of them says, view our previous webcasts. View our previous webcast. If you click on that, it takes you to all of the webcasts. Anything you click on is going to take you to YouTube. Now, the reason why it's better to go through our site is because, number 1, we have them in order that we've done them, and so sometimes you'll remember, oh, that was a month ago, or I remember it was last spring, or something like that. But also, we have some that are not on YouTube because we started doing them before YouTube did their 10, they used to have a limit and you couldn't go over that limit, and so we went through another company, and then once YouTube expanded and said, okay, we can handle more, then we went to YouTube. But we have more webcasts than are on YouTube, and there's some on YouTube that are not on our webcast because the only things we post are our webcast. What we post on YouTube is Tuesday or Monday and Thursday. So they each have separate reasonings for being there. But if you go view our previous webcast, click on that, you'll see a page, and it has 4 years is that about right? 4 years of webcast?
Yeah. It's Ustream.
Yeah, the beginning ones were Ustream, is what they were.
No, it's 6 years.
6 years? It's been 6 years? We've been doing webcasts for 6 years?
Twice.
Oh my God. Boy, time sure flies when you're having fun. 6 years. Wow, we were really ahead of the curve. That's because my genius son Brett here. But anyway. Wow. Okay, 6 years.
And we're always working.
Yeah, but they're still there. I mean, they're there. You guys can review them. And, some of the questions... Okay, so that's all our computer lesson. That's all our computer lessons for tonight. Probably the most frustrating thing we all experience in computers is just because it's doing it on your computer doesn't mean it's doing it on ours, and vice versa. And just because it's doing it on your computer doesn't mean there's anything wrong with our site. And I know that's frustrating. I know you don't know. So it's fine to email me, but just don't get upset with me when I say everything's okay on our end, because it is, and it's all working. But I'm happy to check it. I'm happy to check it and let you know back. So anyway, we've done some other improvements. Again, we're always looking to get better. We do have logic to why we're doing what we're doing. Just kind of keep that in mind. Don't be offended if I email back thanks but no thanks. So we'll continue to get better. All right, so did you want me to?
No, they would just love to hear about it.
Oh, Nina's top. Where Nina's top came from. Yeah. Well, Nina's top actually came from Nina. So Nina lives in San Diego, California, and I have not seen her for a while because we all did, it's in the years of OCC, which I know most of you are not going to know what that is, but in Southern California, in Orange Coast College, that's why they called it the OCC, had what they called a fall fair. And the fall fair, honestly, this is more than 20 years ago, so you can start to see how old we all are. But anyway, they had a fall fair, and it was just sewing. It was just sewing. And anyway, as I went over the years and got to know some of these women, I mean, I just felt like they were my best friends, even though I only saw them every once in a while. I still feel like they're my best friends. There was 4 of them, some from Southern California. So one day I was at the show, and they would all drive up and come to the show. And those of you in Southern California, I know all these, Colette, and anyway. Nina came in, and I loved the top she had on. And I said, I love that top. I'm going to have to copy it. I really like it. And she said, it's your pattern. Another one of those stories. It really was my pattern. She'd just taken it and made a few changes. And so I just felt certain that if I didn't recognize it, possibly you all would not either. And so I tweaked it a little bit from the changes she did, because she said, I'm not sure if I'm doing this exactly right, but she loved it and she wore it, and I loved it too. So that's where Nina's top came from. And it is, I don't remember what that was. Obviously, I'm not good on dates. I didn't think the webcast had been around for 6 years. So I'm not even going to begin to predict when that was. I just don't remember. But thank you to Nina. Like I said, all the girls down there are just really great. Great group of women. Miss them all. All right, so then what we want to do is... We are at 30,000. Time for a sew along. It honestly did cross our mind. And in this week, if I didn't have Spiffy and new patterns and PBS all at the same time, it would even come into my mind. But since we do have all of that, we are not going to have a sew along. But what we are going to do is entertain the idea, because there is a sew along I want to do. There's a new pattern coming out that I want to have a sew along with and for, and it's not long and it's not hard and it's not difficult. So I'm thinking maybe in late September. September is National Sewing Month. I will be through the new patterns. I will be through PBS. I will be through Spiffy is complete. There's just too much at one time to add one more thing in, but it's all good. It's great. But yes, we will. 30,000. Yay, you guys. Thank you. Congratulations to us all. And mostly it's from you all telling your friends, because certainly we don't tell anybody. We don't have anybody to tell. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So we're going to do a sew along, and we'll do it on, it's pattern number 617. It is called the Twisted Blouse. but you won't see it for a couple weeks. But I am excited. I've loved the pattern for a while. I felt like it was just a little bit complex, and you know, it's not. It's not. It's a piece of cake. All right, so now, as many of you know, we have gone through what we call Spiffy. That's silhouette patterns, individual fit for yourself. We had a group of women in the first session. We had a group of women in the second session, and I just absolutely love the whole deal. I just love it. I love meeting the women. I just really enjoy it. So I asked them Sunday, can't remember, it doesn't matter. But anyway, I asked them one of the days after going through this training and learning what they've learned and coming from literally halfway around the world. We had women, 3 women from Australia, Canada, Rosemary. Anyway, you know, I said to them, you've traveled far, you've worked hard, you've sacrificed money, sacrificed time. Not everybody can do this. What would you say to the ladies? Just as if you were standing here. And we ended yesterday, and so they all went off on their merry ways. But what would you tell you? What would you tell yourself? But what would they tell you? So these are from them, and I'm going to read them, and I hope you'll hear it in a different way than what you've heard it before. It's sincerely here to help you, and it is from them. I didn't coin anything. I didn't change anything or edit. It's from them. Number 1 is, you know, I should say to you that there's no order to these. They just all came in. I wanted everybody who wanted to tell something, tell something. So there's no order. There's no number 1, number 2. Okay, we okay? What would you call these? I would call them spiffy words of wisdom. Okay? Spiffy words of wisdom. And I'm going to tell you, these are words of wisdom. These are all, I can tell you, they were all great women. They were all profoundly smart women who could dust circles on me if we went into their arena. Fortunately, I was in my arena, and so I had something to offer. But I just really enjoyed the interaction with them. All right, you need a muslin. That's not from me, that's from them. You need a trial run. You need a calico. You need something that gives you visual confidence and a fix to the problems that are going to happen, because you will then get through the process with more confidence, and it will give you confidence. There's a huge rebellion to making muslins, and it is important to do that, and that's their advice to you. And when you make them, try to make them as accurate to, you know, we call them muslin, and so many of us think, literally, I've got to go get this muslin fabric. Many of you have lots of stuff in your stash. You don't need to go buy more to make the muslin. Go through your stash and see what's old, what's not needed. Do I have old sheets, etc., etc.? What could I use? But one advice was to make it as close as possible to the fabric that's going to be used for your finished garment, so that you don't have any surprises. We had very rigid, in Australia, for example, they call a muslin calico, but calico is a much more rigid fabric than what our muslin is. And in some cases, things don't drape well. And so it sticks out. It doesn't show wrinkles. So the advice is to get the fabric as close as possible to your actual garment, knit or woven, whatever that may be. Okay. Clear your head. Clear your head. So I've used old sheets. Yeah, old sheets are perfect. That's no problem. All right, clear your head. So I'm going to let it go that you understand what that means, but clearly we have things and preconceived notions of the answers and what things should be, and it is our expectations that sometimes give us our greatest disappointments. You are going to fail. You are going to make mistakes. I had a art lesson today where anyway, it's for a PBS thing we're doing, and the teacher had a pencil in one hand, sketching, and an eraser in the other hand. And she said, "You're going to make mistakes." And I had like a meltdown. I had to pause the whole building. You're going to make a mistake. We just don't hear that enough, and I don't think we really understand it. And what she said is, you can't grow without mistakes. You can't develop without mistakes. We still say we don't like them and maybe whatever, but we're going to make mistakes. We're going to just admit you're going to make mistakes, and it's okay. Pause and analyze. So we found that one of the biggest mistakes that they made, or they said they made, was the minute somebody would put something on, they'd just go after the problem. You're better to get a big overall view of it. Look at the hem, make sure it's straight, just get an overall view. Pause, analyze, take a deep breath. Don't attack. And then fix A, fix B. Obviously we implement the L, which is the lights. The C is the countertops, and the D is the dust bunnies. That's the order that we clean. That was from Keystone, and the order that we keep things in. No discouragement is allowed. This is from Lindsay. This is something I have not heard of, and I swear since she said it, I've heard it 40 times, honestly, in the last couple days. We're going to call it the 80-20 rule, and she said everyone knows about it but me, so the 80-20 rule. So no discouragement is allowed, because when we go and try to reach perfection, it's not going to happen, and it'll impede us from going forward. So she would remind all of you of the 80-20 rule, and just remember that with Laura, when we did the first blouse and then we did the second thing, she said she realized she wanted some changes off the first one. The way she realized it was to make it, put it on her body, and wear it. So get out of those sample garments, get out of those mock-ups, get out of those trials. No discouragement allowed. Keep in mind the 80-20 rule. I'm going to have to read this because this one was long, all right? And this one was kind of a conglomerate from everybody. If you are short, tall, skinny, overweight, busty, flat-chested, rounded shoulders, high-hipped, and sway-backed, the patterns will still fit you. There is no body that the patterns cannot fit. Think of your fabric as a knit. It stretches. It stretches and it compresses. When we gain, lose, whatever, it's a knit. We're wrapped in a knit muslin. And so if your body can do it, certainly I can do it with a pattern that has a whole bunch of seams and darts and tools. My body doesn't have any of those. So there isn't any body, all of those things. And not only is it possible, it's impossible to not think that they can work. So you have to really get a clear mind and a vision that it absolutely can happen. And of course, because we took them through this whole journey, we can't replace those feelings and all the light bulbs that went off and all those hands-on experience, but we really wanted to try to bring it to you. One of the gals was new. And I have to say to you that I felt bad, I think. I felt bad because she said she was new, and somehow that didn't register to me how new she was. So new means new. New means not a lot of knowledge, and that just sometimes I just don't understand what new means. And so what she suggested, because there's a lot of information, and we were talking about it's difficult for me to tell you where to start because I don't know what you want. I don't, there's too many variables. So her suggestion was to pick a project and to see that project all the way through. And don't watch any other videos except the ones that pertain to that project. So whatever it is you pick, see it all the way through. Don't stop and go to another project. She said that's very easy to do because there's so much fun things going on. She said, but pick a project and follow it all the way through. And that was the best thing she could offer you. I mentioned the correct fabric to make the mock-up to where it will give you the closest to your end result. One of the gals said that bra fitting is important. Many of the Spiffy girls changed cup sizing while we were here in Dallas because we do go to Nordstrom's. They do a bra fitting. It's completely optional. One of the gals didn't want to go, and then she had some downtime, and she was on her own, and she decided to go. Everybody who went changed a cup size. I promise you, if you keep going back, you won't keep changing cup sizes. Okay, it doesn't work that way. But it's just important to make sure your cup sizing is correct, because I'm telling you to just pick out your pattern by your cup size, and that can help you with alleviating problems. There are some instructions, and some of you may not know they exist, on our site. if you go across the tabs on the very front page, there is an instruction tab. And if you're not taking any of our instructions or not signing up for a workshop, you may never go to that page. But on that instruction page, there's the New York trip, then there's some the workshops or the classes, and then over in the left-hand column, there's instructions on making up a muslin. So that when you go to make up a muslin, and there's information on jackets and pants and skirts, whatever you're going to make, there's instructions for it in that left-hand column. So we want you to know they're there, because our goal is to help you make up a mock with your pattern so that you can work through the process. So some of the gals didn't know they were there, and they felt certain that many of you would not know they're there. A very common thing that we saw was that our muslins were too large, way too large. It is not possible to drape a muslin that is too large, because it's of no value. You're not bringing it in how the pattern would grade down. You're only taking in the circumference, when in fact the pattern grades through the neckline, through the crotch, through the armhole. All these different parts are graded when it comes down. It doesn't just come in through the side seams. So when we make it too big, it's not a logical thought process that you'll simply just take it down. So having said that, they decided, because in our case we had a bunch of women in the room, so we said, hey, anybody got this size? This is too big. Can you throw me that size? And this person can put it on. We swapped them all day long. And the benefit was that someone who at home, and prior to coming, Mary Lou, had made the same size over and over and over, we put her in a smaller size. It was so much better. I mean, like, world better. And Mary Lou's 83. So we're always learning new. We're always seeing new stuff. So the suggestion was to make the top in the size you need it to be, and we all know we're worried about the hips. They get bigger as they go down, but add larger seam allowances at the side. And even though what we learned is we don't like to take out, we don't like the idea that we need a bigger size, you're better off to, if you're not sure of the sizes, go down and add larger seam allowances just where they're supposed to be added. Okay? All right, that is my advice from the ladies to all of you who have not been to a workshop and who may not be able to go to a workshop. We want you to be able to share as much as possible. We did film a section of the workshop, and we took the sweater set. And so the ladies, I filmed the ladies draping each other, and we'll put that up next Monday night. It's got a lot of editing to do, because we're not actually editing anything they said, but we did 1 group, 2 group, 3 group. You know, we got to kind of clean it up a little bit. But they're longer sections, so we got to clean it up. So in our effort to try to bring it to you, I'm not doing any of the fitting. They're all doing the fitting, and they're all doing it off what they learned, and they're draping one another. So I think that'll be really fun for you to see. And again, it was our effort to really bring as much as we could to you all without you all being there. So, questions on that? Anything?
They were just.
All right, good. Good. I thought it was excellent words of wisdom. There was one thing I was going to say, and I'm trying to remember what it was. The one thing they felt like universally, they all felt like they didn't, I know this is going to sound funny, they didn't hear anything new from me at Spiffy. They had heard it all. What Spiffy caused them to do is it forced them to have some deadlines. It forced them to do things that they probably wouldn't have done if they were home, and it forced them to actually drape. It forced them to do it. And what they all agreed upon is that we got great experience, and the doing is where we learned, the actual physical doing. So it wasn't like I said anything that I hadn't said before. They just heard it differently because I was forcing them to do it on each other. Okay. So, and I really mean that to help you all out, and I hope it does. So let's play a little bit. We're going to go to 211, 9 is top. You heard where it came from. You heard that I adore this group of women in Southern California. All of you. There's just great women out there. And so now we had some fun with 9 is top. And because I've known for a while 9 is top was going to be toward the end of summer, and I did this purposely because it's a great top for summertime, and then into fall it really transitions well, and that was the goal. I've been seeing it everywhere. It's everywhere in fall, in spring, in summer and fall fashions. It's just a really easy top and it flows really well. There's really no fit to it. We've kind of covered fit really well in the blouse. We've done a tank top. You all have gotten that really well. I did include a tank top tonight just so as long as we've used it, we might as well use it again. But I've just, because I knew that it was upcoming, I've seen these 211s everywhere. Everywhere I shop, it seems like I see 211s. So I wanted to share them with you and come up with some really fun, easy ideas for you. All right, so I'm going to start with this one right here because I only used I used 3 pieces. Whoops, that's supposed to be, it's a vest. Long vests are really stylish right now. And so the shirt underneath is the cut up tee, which you all know I love this t-shirt. It's called the cut up tee. This vest that I did, I added, well, let me show you the pattern work. Because what I did tonight, and what I noticed is when, I don't know, some time ago when they first came out, all of these little, I'm going to call them little capes, I don't know what else to call them, little Ninus tops, were all done with quite a bit more fullness. They've come back off the fullness a little bit. They're not quite as full as they were originally. This one I did a little while ago, and I put it on tonight because I wanted you to see how nice they are with a contrasting collar. Especially if you're doing them in a print, that contrasting collar is a great way to stop it, call the focus to it, and really give it some attention. But what I wanted to show you is if you wanted to take out some fullness. And so what I did here is I took out 2 inches here, 2 inches here, and 2 inches here. And all you do is take and pleat the bottom of the pattern and pleat it up to spots up here. So with this first one, I went to the neckline. With this one, I went to the neckline. And with this one, I went to the armhole. If you notice, I'm not changing the length of the neck edge. That's where the collar comes in. I'm not changing that. I'm not changing the armhole. These are pivot points that they stop at those points. All I'm doing is shortening this amount of drape that goes through here, and I'm not changing the bottom. Okay? So very easy way to take out fullness. If you don't know if you want to take out fullness, this one, I made it with all the fullness there. You can just make it, see what you think, and then change the next one. You'll make more than one of these. These are really, really fun. What I didn't change in any case was the sleeve and the back. And I didn't change in any of these the collar, but I do have an idea for you that I'm going to make later on. All right, so this is the vest. I did add 10 inches to the bottom. This is going to be worn with leggings, and I'll tell you why this is a home run to me. Just last week I did what was called our accessory garments. This is exactly what this is. It's an accessory garment, but the beauty of it is it covers us. There's enough of us out there who just want to feel like we're covered, but we can still look great, because what you want to do is silhouette the body underneath, add the belt, do the darts, do the fit. But you can put this on top and it just feels covered, and it's a great look. So with this, I wore it with some jean leggings, and it's just this fabric is, I love it. It's almost like a little distressed look. It's brand new, we just put it up, but it's cute and it's fun. So there's only 3 pieces. There's the front, I lengthened 6 inches. The back, just add length to it, 6 inches. And then the collar, and of course I didn't change the collar at all. As you can see, it's the same collar. Cut it just like it is. All right, easy enough. Is the fabric you are wearing? No, this fabric is not available on the site. This is old, like maybe a year. That's old in Silhouette Patterns terms, okay? In our lifetime, that's old. All right, then the next one I'm going to do is I did it with just 3 pieces. And I'm going to go to this one right here, and I'm going to bring it over. So I saw this I was at Neiman's. I can't believe how many versions of this I saw at Neiman's. For some reason, I don't think Neiman's, I don't know, it doesn't matter. But anyway, so this is 2 layers. And this is a really fun way to bring in a woven, because Nina's top requires a knit, but I just love this. So this is 2 layers, and it's a little tricky, so I'm going to show you how it's done. I had the benefit of watching, of seeing the original one, and I definitely went through and searched it out really hard, because I wanted to make sure I could do it, and I wasn't going to buy it. So I just love this. I love the folds. So what I did is I first did a tank top to match the fabric I was using. You wouldn't have to. You just obviously have to be a little more careful about all these matches. But I loved how it's peeking out from underneath the waterfall, and so I did a tank to match, and I added a little bit of length to the top, to the tank. I added like 6 inches to the bottom of the tank, and then I cut this as is. Except, if you notice, there's no collar on this one. I did not make a collar. So on the woven part, I actually finished the edge and finished the edges. There's only 3 edges. So I finished 2 of those edges. The only edge I wouldn't have finished would have been the armhole and the side seam, because that's where it connects. It connects at the armhole right here. So you're going to finish those 2 edges, then you're going to sew it together at the shoulder seam. I did not finish, this is a rayon knit. I did not finish any of the rayon knit edges. I love it because it kind of curls while the fabric stays there. Then also, I cut the fabric. The knit is cut wider than the fabric. So, and you can do that any other way, it doesn't matter. I actually cut them the same, and then I cut off 1 inch of this woven. I cut off 1 inch of the neckline, and I cut off 1 inch at the bottom, because again, you want to just see it kind of peeking out underneath. And you can't really tell when I have it on. I wore it already. You can't really tell if I have it on what is what part, and I really, really liked that. So you can see it's connected at the side seam. The back is the black, and the sleeve is the back. I did hem this back neckline because I wanted to stabilize it. So I went ahead and hemmed that, and then I left no finish at the sleeves or the bottom or anything else. Now, because I made the tank top long, it peeks out the bottom on both the front and the back. And again, I liked that because looking from the back, I didn't want to be a solid black. I wanted to show that print and show a little bit of that coordination. So these 2 layers, I mean, I just love this. I really, really liked it. I've been really excited to make this. I've been really excited to show it to you. So like I said, it's completely separate. You hem the woven first, you attach it at the shoulder seam, and then you put in the sleeve and then attach the side seam. The rest is left unhemmed, the black, and so the only part you're hemming is this, and you hem that prior to sewing it together. It all has French darts, so the fit is beautiful. And then of course I put a little belt on this just to give it some shaping. Again, it's great. What is the base for Nina's top? It's a $195. All our knits are $195 for the base. Should we make a new muslin for each pattern we make? No. That's a really good question though, because one of the gals, again, who is new, she had made, I'm going to try to remember the pattern number. She had made Candosa's top, she made Sunny's top, and then I can't remember the other one she made. And I said to her, why do you keep making these over and over? They're the same thing. And she said to me, what's the same thing? I said, these are all the same. But she's new. That's why I say I didn't understand that new was, she didn't understand that. And so our goal at Silhouette Patterns was to save you time and save you money, because you don't have to keep making those bases over and over. And when you make the adjustment to one, for instance, if you made the sweater set, you're going to make the same shoulder angle, you're going to make the same armhole change. Whatever those changes were that you made in the sweater set, you're going to make them in this also. Because this hangs open, you don't have to worry about a sway back, but everything else. Now, the sweater set we're going to drape on next Monday. That's what the Spiffy ladies did for you. They've draped, and they did an amazing job. I'm telling you, this, Sandy is just the cutest little thing, and she just sounded like a pro. So I think y'all will be very impressed, and we're going to look forward to it. Everybody did. Everybody sounded really good. Belinda, and I shouldn't have mentioned any of them because I'm going to leave somebody out. But anyway, everybody did a great job. So that's the sweater set. $195 is the base. All right. Okay. Then traveling to Neiman's. I want to say this is my favorite, but I know I should never say that because I like them all. I mean, yeah, I really like these. So I'm going to pull this forward though so that we can see it. And this was not made with any changes. I made it exactly like it was. The fabric is incredibly beautiful. It is a I mean, this is just a gorgeous fabric. It has a little knit stripe in there. The whole thing's knit, but I don't know if you can see through and see my hand. It's really beautiful. All right, so this was done in a cashmere in a black, and while I love that, I even like this one better because everything's black, and I really like that everything's not black. I can make it the color I want. But if you'll notice, there's a zipper here, and it's only part of a zipper. I cut off. It's only 8 inches long, and the inside to that is right here on the inside. So the coolest thing about this is when you put it on, and I'll tell you placement for these zippers here in just a minute. This laps to this, and you can actually close the zipper. And so, like I said, I'll show you how to stitch it and everything so that you can get this to work how you want it to. Okay, so this goes in here, and this zips up. And you don't have to zip it up. I mean, you can just zip it up a little bit, but basically what this is this goes over here, and then you can see this lays loose like that because this kind of folds back once it's secured. This is amazing. I mean, I could not believe when I found it. I was like jumping up and down. I was so excited because I just think that's adorable. So here we are, zipper fanatics, or maybe I should just speak for myself. I'm a zipper fanatic. So I want to show you where to place it so that you can understand where to put it on you. And so like I say, it kind of makes a little asymmetric ruffle down the front of the top. So both of these zippers, and again, I took our regular separating zipper and I cut it. So this is 8 inches in length. Let me just double check that so I'm not telling you wrong. Yeah, it's just 8 inches. If you're shorter, you can make it shorter. You're not going to zip the whole thing anyway. But where you're going to put it is at your waist. And I finished the whole thing, and then I put it on. And once I had it on, I just pinned right where my waist was, and that's where I put the middle of the zipper. And then as far as placement this way, you want it to be, the center front is marked on the pattern. You want to go 4 inches in from center front. Or you could just put it on. And once you put it on, it would be right where your waist darts are. That's where you're going to put them. So at the waist dart, you're going to put them right at the waist and go up 4 inches and down 4 inches. Okay, then this is the right side. Okay, so this is the right side. That portion is the separating zipper. That's the base. It's the whole, the ring and everything. The left side is the part that comes off. It's the little part, and it's actually on the inside. But you're going to sew it just flat on the left side, and the teeth are going to point to the left. They're going to point toward the front, because if you notice, when you lap it, it's so that those two pieces will match together. You don't want to do it the other way because you'd have to flip it over. This is where it will lay nice and flat, perfect for what you want, and then it has that little ruffle down the front. Okay, fun little version for Nina's top. It's perfect. Like I said, there was Nina tops everywhere. They were just surfacing, running at me throughout the whole entire store. It was just too much fun. Okay. All right. And I did long sleeve for this one. It's beautiful. Just so pretty. Okay, so then I had an opportunity to have a fabric back that we sold so quickly, we sold out of, that would be perfect for Nina's top, and it's this one. And I just put it back on the site. This is not Nina's top. I know you're going to say I'm cheating. This is not Nina's top, but it's the fabric, and it's perfect for Nina's top. It's a great combination because it's got so many colors in it that you can blend it with a zillion other colors. I don't remember the name of the fabric. I think it's called brushed colors, I think. And we just put it up. It's a netting. So it makes brushed colors. It makes it perfect for a netting. It makes it perfect to go over something. It's just a great variation. But all of these netting fabrics, these lightweight fabrics that we can see through, these ITYs, they're beautiful for doing exactly like what we're doing, which is an overlay, kind of an overlay per se. All right. Okay. Questions, because I'm done.
I want to take a bust start question?
Yeah, we'll take some questions. We'll go for about 5 more minutes, and then we can all go sew is what we can do. I'm making a jacket that I've got to have finished tonight, so I may go sew. And my sewing machine's right there. But we're not going to do a sew along tonight. Okay. All right, let's take a couple questions, and then we've got so much planned for you. Thursday, what we're doing, you guys, just to kind of tease you out a little bit, is we're going to do a pattern of the month. I'm going to sew it. So I'm not even going to promise that I'll do it every month, but what I'm going to try to do is videotape me sewing the POM of that month. So you can just go through the process. And obviously it takes me, 30 minutes or so to sew a top. We're not going to film for 30 minutes, but we'll figure out what we'll fast forward or how we'll slow it down. We'll figure that out. I won't do any verbiage because it's just going to follow the guide sheet, but I will follow the guide sheet and I'll make the POM. So that's Thursday. That's what's coming up on Thursday. Then next Monday we have the Spiffy one that we did, and then the following Monday we have the new pattern. So we have the fall forecast coming up. The new patterns are going to be ready. Okay, let's answer a couple questions. Bust dart question. I'm wanting to lower a French dart. Do I slash the pattern and lower the dart, or just stop the dart earlier? Which method is the preferred technique? I always prefer you to do it the easiest way possible. So if you say preferred, then it would be much simpler to me to just stop sewing a little earlier, call it a day. To slash, to add fabric, or to add paper, to do all that seems like a lot more work. It's not necessary. You're still doing the same thing. You're moving that dart back a little bit. So I would prefer, if you all stop the dart, just stop stitching a little earlier, call it good. Would you recommend using leather for the collar on Nina's top? Yes, great idea. That gives me maybe I was going to do something else. I can tell you another version that I saw with Nina's top, if you don't mind. I didn't get it made, but I'm going to explain it to you. They took the collar, and I'll use this one as an example. And this one I don't remember where I saw it. Anyway, the collar you can see stitches to the body of the garment. But this particular collar was way longer, and the whole thing was fringed. So the fringe was only on the collar, and the collar hung way down, but the whole entire collar was fringed. So if you notice with this, you can actually, there's no stretch to the collar. Even though the garment has to be knit, the collar doesn't have to be. It could be woven, it could be leather, it could be any of those things you wanted to. But make sure that when you go to stretch knits to make them, what am I trying to do? Call that fringe. When you're trying to make fringe, you have to cut the knit one particular direction. So just be sure that you cut the collar the right direction, that the fringe will make fringe. Because if you cut it the wrong way, it won't. So they had just left this long. It was fringed down the front. It was adorable. It was just really, really cute. So for fall, fringe is still really popular. If you want fringe, there you go. How does leaving the band off affect the pattern? Does it make the shoulders narrower? Here I left the band off. It does make the shoulders narrower, but it's not, I wore this and it's the same as a tank top. So because the collar itself is really up close, to leave it off, it's just not a big deal at all. And what you could do, actually what I did, let me show you this. When I cut this out, here's the collar. Because I wasn't going to, but then when I was making it, I thought I really liked it without the collar. So you could cut it doesn't take up that much fabric, and then leave it off, because that worked for me. And on this one I actually cut the sleeve off, and then when I put it on, I loved the blues and the whites, and thinking what I was going to wear it with and what I was going to do with it, left off the sleeves. So it's definitely, you don't need all the parts. You definitely don't need all these parts. For the flowered top and black combo, yes. Did you remove the fullness from Nina's top? Yes, I did. Like you showed in the beginning, I did remove the 6 inches. This was the actual one that started it, because this one I had measured in the store and it wasn't as full as the original pattern. So I took some of that fullness out because I was just afraid it might be too much in the front with 2 layers. So that's actually what started the whole process for me taking some of this out. Okay?
Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. What is the base pattern for woven fabric? This is the tank top. Is that what you mean? The tank top underneath?
I think I'm not sure.
Yeah. Okay, this is the tank top and Nina's. This one right here is Nina's top. I cut them actually the same time, same fabric. I just cut a big piece of fabric and just cut them all at the same time. You still need 2 yards. If you're doing a tank, get an extra yard, get 3 yards. If you're going to do it all out of the same. You could make them all out of the same. I've made it before where all the fabric was the same. It's such a great top. It's such a great pattern. It really is just cute as can be. The collar on this is just really nice. Nina, great job. How did you change the Nina's top you were wearing? I shortened it 6 inches and I did not change the fullness. I left all the fullness in. I shortened the whole entire thing 6 inches all the way around, except not the collar, just the body, and then just cut it into one. You can see when you go to shorten the pattern, you'll see that once you shorten it so much, you'll have to blend it into the front, because the front goes right into the on the pattern. You'll see there's a front section and then there's a bottom section. When you take that bottom up, like right to the French dart, you'll have to blend it all into one. So it's almost like one piece now rather than having the front side and the bottom side. Like I said, when you look at the pattern, you'll understand what I'm saying. Okay, what should I concern myself with? The French dart on Nina's top when pleating out fullness? Nothing. All the fullness is you're not even going through the dart. All the fullness is coming out. Here's the dart. Fullness number 1 is here. Fullness number 2 they both go to the neckline. Fullness 3 goes to the armhole. You're not even close to the dart. You don't have to worry about the dart. Dart's not an issue. But the dart will help it not gap at the armhole. It will prevent all of that and it will fit terrific. Even though there's not really fit, there's still shaping all through the shoulders and neckline. Okay. Using 100% cotton fabric used for quilts to make shirts and or dresses. I'm not sure what the question is on that. Y'all are typing so fast that you can't get it in. It's okay. What is the pattern for the cut-up tee, number 117? It's my favorite. I can't say my favorite. Y'all know I say that all the time. But see the back? It's all cut up. There's a whole bunch of pieces to the back. Just love the pattern. And so even though, you know, when you wear this underneath the vest, you don't see all the cool parts of that cut-up tee, I still love that, knowing that that t-shirt's not just a plain t-shirt underneath, it's a cut-up tee. We're good? All right, we're going to say happy sewing to all of you. Tomorrow, just a reminder, is the last day for PBS, all of our PBS promotions, like our New York trip, our book, you know, the black book, it gets a little bonus, our scissors, the lights. We have to shut it all down on August 15th, PBS rules. And so we'll send out an email in the morning on that, but if you've been kind of hesitating to get anything or wanting anything, it's the time. Tomorrow's the day to pull the trigger. So like I said, all those PBS bonuses end tomorrow. Okay? All right, so from Silhouette Patterns, happy sewing to everybody out there in sewing land. Good night.